You know, sometimes I look back and smile at how far content creation has brought me. When I started my design journey back in 2016, I was just that guy who loved to design. I wasn't thinking about social media or building a personal brand or even creating videos. I just wanted to be a good designer. I spent most of my time learning, practicing, taking clients' jobs and improving my skills. That was it. Then 2020 came, COVID happened. The whole world was on pause, and for the first time I had more time than usual to just sit, think and ask myself, what if you start creating content around what you already know? At the time, I wasn't doing it for fame or money. I just wanted to share, to help other designers like me learn faster, avoid mistakes and get inspired to keep going. So I began creating design related content, simple tutorials, tips and ideas for designers. Nothing too serious, just me sharing what I know. And to my surprise, people started paying attention. Designers began reaching out, asking questions and thanking me for the things I shared. That was when I realized something powerful. Creating content as a designer is not just about posting, it's about impact, it's about connection, it's about visibility. Before I started creating content, I was known only by the people I had worked with. My name wasn't really out there, but once I started sharing my knowledge online, everything changed. People from different parts of the world started discovering me. They started following my journey, trusting my ideas, and even recommending me to others. And here is the beautiful thing. My design business started growing too, because when people see your content, they don't just see your work, they see your value, they see your personality, they see your passion, and that makes them want to work with you. That's how I began to attract clients who respected my craft and were willing to pay well for it. And beyond client work, I started getting opportunities I never imagined. I remember clearly when everything took a major turn. That was when I became part of the YouTube Black Voices class of 2022. Honestly, that was one of the biggest moments of my career. Not just because it was YouTube, but because I was chosen for something global, something that recognized my voice, my creativity, and my effort. And you know what? It all started from me sharing simple design content online. That's why I always tell other designers, both male and female, don't underestimate what can happen when you start showing your work and sharing your thoughts. Even if you don't get big numbers at first, the growth will come. But the most important thing is to start. Now, let me be clear about something. When I talked about content creation, I'm not talking about starting a YouTube channel alone. Content creation simply means sharing what you know and showing what you do. It can be on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, or even Facebook. It can be videos, carousels, short posts, or even voiceovers showing your designs. The goal is not the platform, the goal is visibility. The moment people start seeing your face, your process, your creativity, your ideas, you start becoming more than just another designer. You become a brand, and that's when opportunities start finding you. When I started creating content in 2020, I had no fancy camera, no studio, nothing serious. I used my phone, my voice, and my ideas. But because I stayed consistent, I built an audience, made extra income, and grew Denix Creatives into what it is today. So if you are watching this and you've been scared or shy to start, trust me, I understand. But if I can do it, you can too. This video is not to pressure you, it's to show you what's possible when you start. As a designer, your skill alone is not enough anymore. There are thousands of talented designers out there, some are even better than you. But what makes people choose you over others is not always your design, it's your visibility. Because no matter how good you are, if nobody knows you, you will still struggle. And that's what content creation does. It puts your name, your face, and your work in front of the right people. When you consistently create content, people start to see you as an authority. they start trusting your judgment and your taste. Even people who have never worked with you will begin to believe you are good because they have seen you teach, explain, or share useful ideas. That trust is powerful. It's what makes people say they don't even need to compare prices and they want you to handle their design. I have experienced that several times. Clients would reach out and say, I have been following your content for a while. I love how you explain things. I think you understand my brand perfectly. And that's when I realized your content is your digital portfolio. People might not always check your Behance or your website, but they will see your posts, your videos, or your stories, and in that moment they will decide whether they trust you or not. So when you create content, you are not just trying to get likes, you are building trust, authority, and connection. Let me tell you something true from my experience. Since I started creating content, I have spent less time chasing clients because now people find me, they come across my videos, my posts, or my work, and they reach out first. Some don't even ask for my rates before sending the project. Why? Because they already see my value through my content. That's what happens when your content starts doing the talking for you. It becomes your 24/7 marketing tool while you sleep, while you rest, even when you are busy with other jobs. And that's something I want more designers to experience, especially the female designers out there, because many times women in creative spaces don't get the recognition they deserve, not because they are not talented, but because they are not visible enough. If you are watching this, please start showing your work. Let people see what you do. Let your content speak for you, because once people start seeing your creativity, your voice, your designs, opportunities will find you faster than you think. Now, let me talk about money, because yes, content creation can bring you income, real income. When I started, I wasn't thinking about monetization at all, but all my content grew. Brands started noticing me. Some reach out for collaborations, some for sponsorships, and some for partnerships. I even got international brand deals, something I never expected so soon. That's why I always tell designers, your content can open financial doors your clients' work alone might never open. Because here is the truth: when you create content, you are not just a designer anymore, you are a creative brand, and brands pay attention to other brands, whether it's through affiliate marketing, sponsored content, digital products, or teaching. There are so many ways your content can bring extra income, and the beautiful part is that income can support your main design business. That's what it did for me. There were times when design jobs slowed down, but my content income kept things steady. That's the balance every creative should be aiming for. So if you are still wondering, why should I start content creation? Here is your answer: because it gives you visibility, it builds your authority, it attracts clients naturally, it creates new income streams, and it keeps your creativity alive. You don't have to be perfect to start, you just have to be real. Now, let's talk about something that holds so many designers back: fear. Fear of what people will say, fear that your content isn't good enough, fear that nobody will watch or care. I get it. I have been there. When I started posting design content in 2020, I used to overthink everything. Sometimes I would record a video or design a post, and then I would say to myself, maybe this one is too basic, or what if people don't like how I talk? And guess what? Half of the time I ended up not posting it. But one day I told myself, Dennis, even if one person learns something from it, that's enough. That mindset changed everything. Because the truth is, the moment you stop worrying about being perfect, you finally start making progress. You don't need to have the best camera, the perfect background, or even expensive mic. You just need to start. When people see your content, they are not looking for perfection. They are looking for authenticity. They want to connect with someone who feels real. I have seen content from people who don't even have fancy setups, but their confidence makes their message powerful. It's not about what you have, it's about how you use it. If you are a designer watching this, don't let comparison stop you. Don't look at other creators and feel like you are too late or not talented enough. Nobody can share it the way you do. Now let's talk about something else: consistency. When you are just starting out, your first few posts or videos might not get much engagement. You might post and get 3 likes or 5 views, and you'll be tempted to think maybe this isn't working. But I want you to remember this: nobody sees results at the beginning. Every creator you admire today once posted to almost nobody. The only reason they grew is because they didn't stop. Consistency beats talent every single time. When you keep showing up, people start to notice you. The algorithm starts to favor you, and little by little you build a loyal audience that trusts you. That's how it happened for me. It didn't happen overnight. It took time, patience, and a lot of showing up even when I didn't feel motivated. So don't rush the process. Focus on showing up consistently, not perfectly. And to my female designers watching this, I want to say something straight from the heart. Please don't hide your creativity. Don't shrink yourself because the space feels dominated by men. You belong here too. Your designs, your voice, your personality, they all matter. The world needs more women showing up and sharing their creative journey, because when you show up, you don't just create content, you inspire another woman to believe she can do it too. I've seen some amazing female designers who started small and are running powerful brands, not because they were the most skilled, but because they showed up and shared their value. So if you have been scared to start, I want you to remember this: confidence doesn't come before you start, it comes after you start. You grow more confidence as you post, as you talk, as you teach, and as people begin to respond. So don't wait to feel ready. Start where you are. Start messy. Start scared if you have to, but start, because one day you will look back and realize that the only mistake you could have made was not starting sooner. You know, sometimes I sit back and think about how everything changed for me, and it still surprises me. If I didn't start creating content in 2020, I honestly don't know where I would be today. Maybe I would still be that quiet designer who only posts when he finishes a client's job. Maybe I would still depend only on referrals or printing gigs. But content creation gave me something I never had before: visibility and confidence. See, when you create content as a designer, you are not just showing your work, you are showing your growth. People begin to see you not just as someone who designs, but as someone who teaches, inspires, and shares. That's powerful. Clients don't just want a designer anymore. They want someone who understands their brand and can communicate visually. When you are creating content, you are already proving that skill before anyone hires you. Your content becomes your silent salesman. I have had clients tell me, "I saw one of your videos and I could tell you know what you are doing." Imagine that. A simple video or post can do what 10 code messages can't do. That's why I always say your content is your 24 hours portfolio. Even when you are sleeping, it's still working for you. People are discovering you, learning from you, and trusting you, all because you showed up online. And here is the best part: you don't need to be famous, you just need to be consistent. When I started, I had no idea about how to grow, but I kept showing up, and gradually people began to remember my name. Brands started noticing, even YouTube noticed, and in 2022 I was selected as part of the YouTube Black Voices class, and all because I decided to share my story and knowledge as a designer. That's why I'm telling you this today. Don't wait till you figure it out. Start where you are, start small, but start now. You already have something valuable that others can learn from: your experience. Even if you have been designing for just 1 year, there is someone who is just starting today, and your content can help them. That's the beauty of creating content. It connects designers across different levels and stories. You know, beyond the money, brand deals, and opportunities, creating content gave me something deeper. It gave me peace and purpose, because before I started, I used to feel stuck sometimes. I love designing, but there were days I felt like I was just working to survive. You finish a client's job, send it off, and move to the next. No one sees the effort. No one knows who is behind the beautiful work. But when I started creating content, everything changed. For the first time, I could express myself, not just through colors, designs, and shapes, but through my voice. I started telling stories behind my designs, sharing my creative process, my mistakes, and the little lessons that shaped me. And people connected to that. They would comment things like, this really inspired me, or I feel this same thing sometimes. That connection was powerful. It reminded me that I wasn't just a designer. I was a voice in the creative space. And that's what content creation does. It gives your work meaning beyond the client's brief. It helps you impact people you've never even met. I have had people message me from countries I have never visited, telling me how one of my videos helped them find direction as a beginner designer. And honestly, that feeling is priceless. Also, one of the reasons I keep encouraging other designers, both male and female, to start creating content. Your story could be the reason another designer doesn't give up. Your story could help someone feel seen, understood, or even motivated to try again. And that's the real beauty of it. Content creation isn't just about showing your skills. It's about sharing your journey. It's about showing that you are human too, that behind those clean designs is someone who is growing, learning, and figuring things out daily. It builds community, and in that community, you will find support, inspiration, and even collaboration opportunities you never expected. One of the best things content creation has given me is freedom. And when I say freedom, I don't just mean financial freedom. I mean creative and emotional freedom. The kind that makes you wake up excited again about what you do. Before 2020, I was designing back to back, chasing deadlines, dealing with clients who wanted something simple but didn't know what they wanted. It was stressful. Some days I felt like I was losing my creative spark. But when I started creating content, I began to enjoy the design again. It reminded me why I fell in love with it in the first place. I was designing for myself again, not just for clients. When you create content, you stop depending on others to validate your creativity. You start putting your ideas out there. You experiment more, you express more, and somehow your creativity grows faster. And let me tell you something interesting. Your content becomes a door to other forms of income, not just brand deals or YouTube money, but collaborations, courses, digital products, mentorship, and so on. It helps you build a personal brand that can open doors even outside design. That's the kind of freedom I want more designers to have. To not just be the designer behind the scenes, but to be known, respected, and rewarded for their voice and creativity. It's not about trying to be an influencer. It's about being visible, because visibility brings opportunities and opportunity brings freedom. So if you have been scared to start, let this be your sign. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Start messy, start small, but just start. If there is one thing I have learned from all these years, it's that the moment you start sharing your story, your journey changes. When I started in 2020, I didn't have a plan. I was just a designer trying to stay busy during the lockdown. But that one decision to start creating content opened more doors for me than I ever imagined. It supported my design business. It gave me a platform. It gave me confidence, and it connected me to people who truly value what I do. So I'm telling you today, don't wait until you figure it out. Don't wait until you buy a camera or until your feed looks perfect. Just start sharing what you already know. Start showing how you think as a designer. Start telling your story, because nobody can tell it like you. There are so many talented designers out there, but very few voices. Your voice matters, your story matters, and trust me, someone out there is waiting to learn from you. Creating content doesn't mean you have to stop designing. It simply means you are choosing to build something bigger, a brand, a voice, a legacy. So So as we start this new series, I want you to make a decision, not just to watch but to take action, because in the next few episodes I'll be showing you practical steps on how to start creating content as a designer, even if you have never done this before. But for now, take this as your first assignment. Decide that you will no longer hide your creativity, and if you want to stay updated about this whole series, I've created a WhatsApp group for designers like you. That's where I'll be dropping updates, behind the scenes tips and free resources. The link is in the description or in my pinned comments. Make sure you join so you don't miss any part of this journey. And if you've got value from this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'm Dennis Joshua and this is a series, how to start creating content as a graphic designer. This was episode 1, why every graphic designer should start creating content. I'll see you in episode 2.